And the company behind the popular Canvas software, which was hacked last week, causing major disruption at thousands of universities and colleges, has paid the hackers not to publish stolen data online. The cyber attack affected an estimated 9,000 institutions in the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK, with exams disrupted after the Canvas service went down. And Ukrainian authorities on Monday named President Volodymyr Zelensky's powerful former chief of staff as a suspect in a major corruption probe, a move likely to pile pressure on the president's office at a sensitive moment in the war with Russia. Kyiv's political class was rocked by a wide-ranging investigation last year that had fueled public anger and prompted the ex-top advisor and Zelensky's right-hand man, Andriy Yermak, to resign.
That. Lionel Messi's participation in the FIFA World Cup has been the subject of fan queries for the past few months, but his inclusion in Argentina's preliminary squad for the tournament may have put those concerns to rest. The global football superstar was among the 55 players named by Lionel Scaloni in his initial World Cup roster on Monday, but the 38-year-old has yet to fully confirm his availability as Argentina look to defend their title.
And an explosion in a busy market in northwestern Pakistan has killed at least 9 people and wounded 30, according to emergency workers and a medical official. The blast on Tuesday was caused by a bomb-laden rickshaw in Pakistan's town of Sarai Naurang in Lakhi Marwat district, a region close to the border with Afghanistan, said police. 2 traffic police and a woman are among those killed, according to local police chief Azmat Ullah. And at least 372 Afghan civilians were killed and 397 injured as a result of cross-border violence between Taliban forces and the Pakistani military. In the first 3 months of 2026, the United Nations has reported, and with more than half the deaths attributed to air raids on a drug rehabilitation facility in Kabul, the UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, UNAMA, which monitors civilian casualties in Afghanistan, said its report, and released on Tuesday, was based on checks with 3 different independent sources. The latest quarterly figure, which is higher than the casualties recorded for the period by UAMA since 2011, included 13 women and 46 children, 31 boys and 16 girls, and 313 men.
The Pakistan Sports Board, PSB, has launched the National Talent Identification and Verification System, NTIVS, a digital and merit-based platform aimed at identifying young athletes for national-level opportunities. The initiative has been introduced to address a major gap in Pakistan's sports system, where many talented athletes often depend on personal connections, informal channels, or limited exposure to get noticed. Badminton coaches and physical education teachers from across Pakistan received first ever machine-based training during a seminar organized by Razi Sports Academy at Shalimar Club. Around 40 male and female participants were trained through a shuttle feeding machine, introducing them to advanced coaching methods and modern badminton training techniques aimed at improving coaching standards in the country. The Pakistan Rugby Union, PRU, on Monday announced a 10-member team for the inaugural Central South Asian Sevens Rugby Championship, scheduled to take place in Tashkent on May 16-17. The squad includes Amir Shahzad, Anjum Sajjad, Mohsin Raza, Mohammad Achib Siddiqui, Abbas Bangash, Mohammad Haroon, Faik Shahzad, Mohammad Afzal, Tukir Ali and Mohammad Irfan.
And a Georgia data center developed by Quality Technology Services used more than 29 million gallons of unaccounted for water through 2 connections before Fayette County officials discovered the issue. Politico reported the issue came to light after residents complained about low water pressure and the county utility reviewed the data center's water use. And the federal government has announced the establishment of 3 Asan Khidmat Markaz in the regions of Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir. The new centres will offer a range of essential government services under one roof, making it easier for residents to access public services without the hassle of visiting multiple offices. The centres are part of the federal government's ongoing efforts to improve governance and streamline the delivery of services to the public. And Islamabad. Kuwait agreed on Tuesday to explore new opportunities around building strategic storage in Pakistan's petroleum sector, a statement by the Petroleum Division said, adding that the initiative could result in mutual benefit for both sides. The assurance came during a meeting between Petroleum Minister Ali Pervez Malik and Kuwait's ambassador to Pakistan, Nasar Abdul Rahman Jasser Al-Matairi, in Islamabad.
That the United Nations condemned on Tuesday the toll from escalating Israeli military operations and settler attacks in the occupied West Bank on children, with 70 Palestinian children killed since the start of 2025. Children are paying an intolerable price for escalating military operations and settler attacks across the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem. UN Children's Agency spokesman James Elder told reporters. That after 34 episodes and a timeline sprawling over 2 decades and beyond, Pehel finally wrapped up 2 weeks ago. Despite being an engaging drama, well written and directed, and with some wonderful performances, for the most part, that, at least, the last 2 episodes, unfortunately, were a letdown. Mainly because it felt as if the writer and director glanced at the clock, panicked and hit fast forward on the last 2 episodes. For the uninitiated, the drama centers around Ziba, who is stuck in a toxic marriage for over 20 years and has 4 children. How 2 people who can't stand each other end up having 4 kids is a whole other drama for another day. The early episodes are set in the 80s, if not the 90s, before we're suddenly brought to the present, where the kids are all grown up.
And Japanese snack giant Calbee says it will temporarily switch to black and white packaging for some its best-known products, as supplies of an ingredient used in ink have been disrupted by the Iran war. The firm says new style packets for 14 of its products, including crisps and prawn crackers, will start to appear in shops in Japan from the 25th of May.
On a rainy, cold morning, Masuda makes her way to a hillside cemetery in northwest Kabul to visit the grave of her younger brother Mirwais. But she doesn't know exactly where he was buried after he was killed in a Pakistani airstrike 2 months ago. Netflix has been sued in Texas over claims it collects data belonging to children and adults in the U.S. state without their consent and uses addictive design to keep them hooked. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton accused the streaming giant of spying on citizens, saying it records and monetizes billions of pieces of information about how users behave on the platform, despite suggesting otherwise.
And Israel's military has killed 6 people in an air raid on a house in southern Lebanon, the latest violation of a United States brokered truce that has only ever existed on paper. The Israeli attack on Monday night targeted a house in the Kfar Dunin municipality, some 100 kilometers, 60 miles, south of Beirut, Lebanon's national news agency, NNA, said.
Fake online advertisements and social media groups are luring people in Jordan with promises of quick profits from cheap gold, with sellers disappearing once funds have been transferred or customers defrauded with counterfeit and substandard metals. Mohammed Nassar said he was quoted a price for gold lower than local market rates due to an online store, claiming it was exempt from manufacturing fees, government licensing costs or shop rents. Palestinian couples gathered for a collective wedding ceremony in Gaza, organized by a Turkish charity amid rubble and displacement. Brides and grooms described trying to reclaim moments of joy after months of Israeli attacks, destruction and life intense. Amazon deliveries keep getting faster. On Tuesday, the online retailer announced the launch of its 30-minute delivery option, dubbed Amazon Now, in dozens of U.S. cities. This ultra-fast delivery option will allow customers to shop across thousands of items, Amazon says, including fresh groceries, household essentials, and other locally relevant items.
And FIFA has released another official song for the 2026 World Cup, this time featuring Palestinian-Chilean singer Eliana alongside Canadian artist Jessie Reyes. Titled Ilune, the track arrives as part of FIFA's growing musical rollout for the tournament and has been received far more warmly online than some of the earlier releases. And The federal government might just have discovered yet another excuse to again increase petrol and diesel prices this week, following last week's abrupt hike shortly after the executive board of the International Monetary Fund decided to deposit $1 and $3 billion in the State Bank of Pakistan. And crude oil prices have moved closer to the $110 per barrel mark in international markets after US President Donald Trump's recent rejection of Iran's proposal to end the Gulf War sent global oil stocks towards the sky. And authorities have issued revised official prices for roti, naan, paratha, and tea across Rawalpindi, Islamabad, and other districts of Rawalpindi division, following the notification tandoors in the Twin Cities have started selling bread items at the updated rates. And Microsoft is working on a Windows 11 update that aims to reduce startup times for some tasks, Windows Central reported. The update includes a new high-performance mode that Windows Central sources call low latency profile. The report said the mode has delivered up to 40% faster app load times and up to 70% faster interface launch times. And the Pakistan Tennis Federation has announced that the visit of former world number one and tennis legend Bjorn Borg has been postponed due to urgent personal circumstances requiring his immediate presence elsewhere. According to the PTF, Borg has conveyed that he is unable to travel at this time. The federation said it fully understands and respects his situation. And World Health Organization (WHO) Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said, "On Tuesday, our work is not over to contain hantavirus after evacuations from a cruise ship hit by a deadly outbreak of the illness. The fate of the MV Hondius sparked international alarm after 3 passengers died in an outbreak of the rare virus, for which no vaccines or specific treatments exist."
This can be a very long review or a very short one. 2 things, though, are certain. No film review would be complete without inserting the titles of Jackson's hit songs into the sentences. That, and no film, this or otherwise, can ever truly give you a realistic depiction of who Michael Jackson really was, but that's okay. This adaptation of Michael's life, directed by Antoine Fuqua, Training Day, The Equalizer, written by John Logan, Gladiator, The Aviator, and produced by Graham King, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Departed, is a perfect recap cum balancing act.
And United States President Donald Trump's visit to China this week will mark his 7th face-to-face meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The visit will also be the first trip by a US leader to China since 2017. And Karachi, Pakistan, Farhat Qureshi had been cooking most of her life without watching the clock. Now, at 60, her mornings begin with one question: how much can she finish before the gas in her kitchen disappears once again? The cooking gas at her Karachi home comes in short windows in the morning, afternoon, and evening. If she misses a window, the cooking is delayed, food is reheated, plans are changed, and the kitchen waits.
French President Emmanuel Macron has announced €23 billion, 27 billion of investment during the Africa Forward Summit in Kenya. Macron said on Monday that Africa and France had a partnership of equals with common objectives, as he announced €14 billion, 16.4 of investments in private and public funds from French companies and €9 billion, 10.5 billion from African ones on energy transition, agriculture and artificial intelligence, AI.